All right, it looks like we are live.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the first unscripted live edition.
We're excited to be here, getting ready for the Book of Boba finale.
3 hours, 14 minutes, and counting.
So, what do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to get a showdown. I think we're going to see all the people that Mando went to and spoke to are going to start arriving in Tatooine little by little. Everyone's going to be able to meet Finnick and Boba. And I think we're going to see a little war council. What about you?
So, same. I'm interested to see how long the episode is going to be.
Yeah, I've heard people speculating that's going to be an hour and a half. I could see that happening with the fact that episode 5, I think, was like 52 minutes.
Yeah.
So I could see it plausible. Well, do I think it's going to happen? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like 40 to 50 minutes. So if it is in that 40 to 50 minute range, I truly hope that there is no more story building. I don't want any more.
Yeah, when Boba meets all of the people like Cobb Van that Mando's going to recruit, I really do hope that it's more of like, hey, I'm with Mando, let's do this, instead of like everybody's backstory. I think the only one that will have a prolonged dialogue would be Cobb Van, because he just got shot by Cat Bane, and he's going to probably describe to Mando and Boba of the person who shot him, and Boba's going to be like, oh, I know who that is. So that's the only thing I can see really happening in terms of extended dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, also I think that one. I do think he's going to be more of a final like character introduced, because I think we're going to see him injured, and we're not going to expect him to be in the battle, but I think he's going to have his moment in the battle. But I do hope that the episode starts with Boba going to confront the Pikes and immediately is kind of being overpowered, and then we get Mando, and it's like, okay, cool, now there's a little bit of fight and then pushback. So I want it to be that back and forth. I want it to be 50 minutes of nonstop action. Is it going to happen? I don't think so, unfortunately.
Yeah. If they do anything more than like 10 minutes of story building and introductions and get-togethers, I think it's more than enough time.
Yeah, I mean, and then I'm still like, as I loved episode 5 and I loved episode 6, but I have the same issue with both. They're building up the wrong story.
Yeah.
I know we got an extra episode, but the fact that in episode 6, Boba's in it for a minute.
Was he even in it?
Yeah, they have that one scene where
the War Council.
Yeah, the War kind of council.
There's episode 5 that he's not in. Right?
Yeah, episode not at all. You get Finnick at the end, but not in it at all.
Yeah, well, she had to go get the muscle.
I know, but it's just kind of like crazy to think. I do hope we get to see Boba versus Cat Bane. I think. Oh, imagine if it starts with that. Like Boba is just like that, like old Western. You just get Boba.
I don't think we see Cat Bane that early in this episode, because I think he's gonna be more of a hammer drop, and because I think due to the fact that Book of Boba was using flashbacks throughout the series, I think Cat Bane is introduced probably 20 minutes into the show, and we probably get like a 30-second to a 2-minute flashback from Boba Fett's point of view of like the last time they saw each other and shot at each other.
Yeah, they had that dialogue that had already been like filmed and scripted for the Clone Wars, but obviously we never got to see. That's how Boba got the dent in his helmet. So I hope we get to see that. I'll be honest, I don't think we get to see it.
That's how Cat got the metal plate, right, in his head?
It's not specifically said, but it's implied that that's how he got his the metal plate that we see him have in Bad Batch. Okay. So it'd be interesting to see what we get there. Do you think we get Luke in this?
No, I hope we don't. He's so OP. Yeah,
so I think that's the argument. I'm a little upset we didn't get to see Luke train Mando with the Darksaber.
Dude, I agree. That was such a missed opportunity. It set it up perfectly. I don't know why they just didn't give us that.
Yeah, I think they're trying to play on that Jedi versus Mandalorian theme storyline still. I do think because we're gonna have Mando going back to Mandalore and kind of rebuilding that, and as we have Luke rebuilding up the
Jedi Temple,
the Jedi Order. They might do some kind of storyline with that, that they can kind of build on that.
Were you happy to see R2D2 again when they were building the Jedi Temple?
Always happy to see R2D2.
I thought we were going to see 3CPO. I was a little sad that we didn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought in the scene where Ahsoka pops up, I thought 3CPO was going to walk up and like freak out, like, oh my God, who are you? What are you doing here? And then he was going to have like banter with R2.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that would have been the perfect spot for them.
Well, remember this C-3PO would be with Leia at this point. Because this is after episode. No, yeah, okay. So I was like thinking, well, see, like he got his mind wiped. That was episode 3. So no, yeah, he has a recollection of everything. So he's probably with Leia.
And Han and
yeah.
Ben wouldn't have been conceived yet, would he?
Yeah.
He would have?
Yeah. Ben's around already. Ben's probably like 4 or 5 at this point.
I thought it was only like 5 or... How long is Book of Boba after?
I think it's a couple years.
Yeah, so I don't think he would have been born yet. Even if he was, probably only one.
Well, no, yeah, because he went like in his 20s, 30s.
Mm-hmm, in episode 7.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like because I think Kylo was officially the first student.
Mm-hmm.
The temple's already built, so he's got to be close to being ready to at least be around already.
Probably.
I would think that he's alive already and crawling around somewhere, lifting these little blocks with this little
with his little force sensitive hands, trying to be like his grandfather and force levitate him.
Yep. You think Chrysanthemum is going to play a major part? Or you think he's just going to be like a background character?
They've made a big deal about how strong he is in his lore and who he was. So hopefully he gets a big scene. Hopefully we get to see a Wookiee rip somebody's arms off. Like that's
we saw him do it in the episode, the one when he's in the cantina.
Oh, he does, right? When he gets mad at. Oh yeah, you're right. Why do you remember that? I don't think it was impactful.
It was just kind of like a little tease because the bar host, I can't remember her name, walks up and she's like, how about drinks on the house? How about
R.I.P.
How about we clear your tab and you just forget about it? He looks at her and just slams, pulls out the hands and throws her the bag of credits.
Were you happy to see Ahsoka?
I was. I love that line. I'm an old family friend.
Yeah. Of the Skywalker.
Yeah. So it's nice to know that her and Luke have had those conversations. I think it'd be nice to see them have those conversations, but just to know that they've had them. She learned that Anakin did, end up returning to the light side of the Force.
Yeah.
So I like seeing her Ahsoka. I think her show should be pretty interesting.
Is her show going to be like a couple years before Mando, or is it going to be?
No, it's all in the same timeline.
Yeah. Her own adventures.
Yeah, so her show should be coming up here. The because even Endor is in the same timeline, I think, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think everything is taking place around this time.
If you were Grogu, well, actually, no. I'll save that one for later. If you were Din, do you go see Grogu?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, yeah. Obviously.
That's your boy. That's your baby boy.
No, yeah. And so that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought, obviously, he's carrying the Beskar chainmail.
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka was like, hey, that's going to make it harder for him. So, but obviously, he doesn't go down that Jedi path because we don't see him in the temple.
Yeah.
In the flashbacks and things along those lines. But yeah, I was like, I ain't a Jedi. I don't give a damn about your guys' way.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, he has a strong affection.
He's a family too.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I definitely would have seen him. I think it would have been interesting to have, I don't want to say a fight between
Luke
and Mando, but like just have him have like a little like, nah, he's with me. Like, like stare down. Like maybe Luke is defensive. Like, hey, no, he's gonna be a Jedi. You can't see him. And Mando's like, move. I'm gonna see him. And so, Luke pulls out his lightsaber, and then Mando's like, well, guess I got one too. Like that would have been epic. But we didn't get it.
I don't know. I think Luke comes off super hypocritical because Luke had the attachment to Han, Leia, and Vader. Like the attachment to his father and wanting to know more about his father is what ultimately turns Vader back into Anakin. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why he's trying to make Grogu choose one or the other when he himself, when he was being trained by Yoda, who people are saying it might be Grogu's father, when he was training with Yoda, he leaves to go to Cloud City to save Han and Leia, which is an attachment. If that doesn't happen, like...
No, I agree. So I think it's, it's like history will repeat itself.
It's not bad history.
No, yeah. So I do think that him going down this path where he's embracing the more traditional Jedi morals and values is what ends up, leading to his exile and all that stuff. But I think because it worked for 1,000 years, that okay, that's the way it's got to be. It worked,
It didn't work though. The Jedi, all of the Jedi, even if you go back to Anakin's son, they're all hypocrites. That's why Qui-Gon was trying to like do his own thing and find new paths and different ways to learn. Because Mace and Yoda, they were hypocrites about like being absolute, and they were kind of tyrants.
Well, no, yeah. So obviously, then that's 40 years ago, but the New Republic's been around for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So it's something that lasts 1,000 years. You're obviously doing something right.
Or you're doing it wrong, and nobody has the ability to stand up against it.
True, but I do think it's brought up a lot that Jedi are peacekeepers, not warriors.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a big dilemma, especially during the Clone War. How can you be a peacekeeper but you're fighting a war? So there's a lot of faults.
Did you watch Star Wars Vision, the anime series?
Yes, I saw.
There was one episode where it's a Jedi and not a Padawan but a younger apprentice, and they go to like this farmland and they see an old Sith. Do you remember that? And they're like fighting like these big boars.
Was this the black and white one?
No, the black and white one was the first episode, which was amazing. That was probably the best one. The one I'm talking about was like episode 7. So can you go back? And I believe it might have been that one. But in that, they're showing the Jedi more as warriors instead of peacekeepers.
Mm.
And my thing is, if the Jedi were more warrior-like, we wouldn't have seen them obliterated the way we did with Order 66.
Yeah, and so this is something where I thought Ahsoka was going to be a major role, because you see Ahsoka like get betrayed by the Jedi Order, which is why I thought we were going to see Ahsoka with the white lightsabers, because the white lightsabers are more pure, kind of like that Qui-Gon Jinn, let the Force like control you, let the Force lead you, versus let's manipulate the Force for good. It's let the Force control you, let the Force
the Force determine what your actions will be.
Exactly. So that's what I thought was Ahsoka was going to be, but we see her embracing the Jedi ways when she's preventing Din from seeing Grogu,
which is why I was so shocked. I was like, she left the Jedi Order because of how they did her dirty, like she enforcing them.
Yeah.
Especially when Luke sees her as like someone with wisdom.
No, yeah. Honestly, I feel like Luke in episode 6 is gonna struggle against Ahsoka at that same time period.
Yeah,
because this is like prime Ahsoka, So I do think that would have been a nice something nice to see when they first meet, have a little battle between them. So I thought that would have been interesting to see, but again, something that we did not get to see, at least not yet. But I do think that they're gonna have to find a way to pull away from the Jedi way and find a way to create a story that does give you those gray Jedis, those gray, so that someone that's just force wielding, that doesn't follow, that isn't Sith, isn't Jedi, someone down the middle, which I think they kind of try to do with Kylo at the end. He's like, "Oh, I'm not Sith," he's just kind of doing his own thing. But
in episode 6, as Vader is dying, do we see what happens to his lightsaber?
So he gets,
because it doesn't fall through the chute.
I think it does.
It does.
So because he falls, and then you see Luke cut off his hand, so he probably goes down the shaft.
I was gonna say, if it didn't, it would have been cool, since we already know Luke has Yoda's lightsaber, and obviously he wasn't around. Oh, actually, disregard what I was gonna say that. But it would have been cool to see Luke, since we know he had Yoda's lightsaber, if he also had Anakin's, and kind of made Anakin's his own primary lightsaber, which would be Vader's. And then we kind of see Ahsoka seeing Luke with Vader's lightsaber, and like, how do you have that, or why do you have that? But instead of it being Vader's red lightsaber, it was Vader's saber, but with Luke's green kyber crystal.
Well,
it would have been cool.
It would have been white if he purified it. But yeah, I think seeing a white lightsaber, I think Ahsoka is a perfect example to be that new gray Jedi.
Yeah.
I thought she would have been perfect for that role, and I don't like how they're casting her, in that way. But I do think that's more of just respect to Luke. So hopefully it's just that, it's her just out for respect for Luke. That's his student. We got to follow his way. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. So I'm doing that for him, and they end up doing their own things, keeping her kind of the way she was, hopefully. But kind of leaning on that, what do you think Grogu is going to choose? Do you think he?
I think, for selfish reasons, I would want him to choose the armor. I would like to see him choose the armor and go back with Mando for more adventures, but also like self-teaching him the Jedi way and getting more memories. But I think storytelling wise, I think he's going to choose the lightsaber, and I'm hoping that Luke isn't such a hypocrite, and it's kind of like a test, like, okay, since you did choose the lightsaber, like, I'm still gonna give you the opportunity after some time to go back with Din and like have that bond, because he probably is gonna think the bond makes him stronger. Because I feel like this Luke is a weird mix between the Luke we see who's so hopeful and joyful, and then the Luke we see in Return of the Jedi who's so jaded, and like we see bits and parts of him being confused. But I just hope he's still early enough in this timeline where he isn't so jaded, and he lets Grogu have both.
Yeah, so something that like I've seen and like kind of like read up on is, we see Grogu have his flashback, and the Jedi that's protecting him is wielding the green lightsaber.
Yeah.
So green lightsaber is very traumatizing to him. So I think the fact that Luke showed him a green lightsaber is going to push him away from that and make him choose the armor, because he is attached to that. And I keeping with that, hopefully we do see a Luke that's still not as rigid and dogmatic with the Jedi ways yet. But I do think that we're seeing that build up, because as he learns more of the Jedi way, like on paper it makes sense, but it's like once you put it in practice, that's where it becomes very flawed.
Yeah.
But I do think that we are going to see Grogu choose the Beskar chainmail. And I kind of hope we see Grogu on Tatooine.
I think we will. I think after he chooses the Beskar armor, I think Luke will be like, okay, I'm going to take you back to Din.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully he drops off Grogu after all the battling or right before it. Because, again, I don't want to see Luke just, like, murking everybody. He's too powerful. It won't be a fair fight unless we get introduced to a Sith in Episode 7 or Kira from Crimson Dawn.
Yeah.
Like, unless we get someone who could match his power level on the dark side who's working with the Syndicate, I don't want to see him.
No, yeah. So, obviously, it would be a mismatch. I think we've seen, just the glimpse of his power when we see him take on the Dark Troopers.
That was sick.
That's him at like 2%, just walking through them.
Yeah, we never get to see Luke at his full power. So hopefully now with the deep fake for the voice and the images, I would like him to get his own show. I don't know how realistic that'd be right now, having a full show with him, like CGI.
Yeah.
Especially with their list of all the other shows that they're going to have. But, oh man, I just started thinking about Kenobi. I really hope we get to see a trailer of Kenobi at the end of this episode.
I don't have a way to send this to the screen, but so I'll show you. So we see the Crimson Dawn logo foreshadowed multiple times inside of Book of Boba. The mayor has the same necklace as Crimson Dawn, and there's like the shadows are created in a way to create that same logo. So I think it is foreshadowed that we are going to get Crimson Dawn in the show.
Yeah.
And I do think we are going to get Kira. Maybe as the finale, we see her kind of land, kind of when we see that we have kind of like Boba's kind of won. We're going to see her land with reinforcements. Like, hey, you know what? Like this just got serious.
Yeah.
And I think that might be a good way to start Mando. Kind of pick it up there, just because it is his show now. So
it's his universe.
It is Mando's universe. There is no denying that.
Yeah, he's gonna be what Tony Stark and Iron Man was to the MCU. That's what Mando's gonna be to Disney Plus and Star Wars universe moving forward, I believe.
No, yeah, he's definitely that centerpiece where he's gonna cause the conflicts and he's gonna be the resolution at the end.
I don't know if he'll cause the conflicts. That's Iron Man's specialty, getting himself into stuff that he needs Cap to save him from.
You're already seeing it. He caused the conflict when he took off his helmet. So now he's gonna lead to a resolution by going to go redeem himself.
Yeah, but that's not really a conflict.
I mean, it is for him.
It's like if he would have killed Bo-Katan, then stolen the Darksaber.
No.
Like, that would have been a conflict.
No, but this is like a religion to them.
Yeah.
And he broke the ultimate sin.
But he's the leader now. He's the ruler. If he can say, hey, you can take your helmets off. Because there's different factions.
No, so I don't think he can do that. I think if he says, hey, like, I'm the leader, like that, those rules don't apply anymore, that's civil war. You're going to war. Which is kind of, so you have...
He who has the Darksaber rules.
Yes, but obviously that's already been a problem. You have Bo-Katan, which is kind of the other side, not
the other faction,
not the purist anymore.
Yeah. The evolved New Age.
Yeah. So, but I do think being part of the creed is like a religion. So I think he broke the ultimate sin. It's unredeemable, and the only way to redeem it seems impossible at this point.
So right now who the Darksaber should belong to?
Mando.
Luke.
Why?
Palpatine's beaten by Vader. Maul. No, my bad. Palpatine's defeated by Maul. Vader defeats Maul. Luke defeats Vader, and nobody had possession of it afterwards. The blade was gifted to Bo-Katan, and then that's when Gideon takes it, and then Mando beats Gideon. But Bo-Katan never earned it.
Yeah,
You're supposed to earn it.
Oh yeah, that's why.
So the last person who technically had it or should have been in line due to battle and conflict would have been Luke.
But doesn't Ahsoka beat him?
What?
In Clone Wars, when he's the leader of, when he's like taking over Death Watch and he's in charge. He's in charge of Mandalore.
No, the only person who beats him is what's it?
Obi-Wan beats him.
Obi-Wan, yeah, he does, but he didn't have the blade then. And I'm just talking about when he had the Darksaber.
Yeah,
because when he gets beat, I forgot to do the beats. It's not Palpatine. Sidious, he just leaves it. When Maul drops the saber, he just walks away.
So I know you have the storyline where Maul and Savage go after Sidious, which is Palpatine, same person.
Yeah.
But I think that's after, or is that before we get to the part where you see? Because in you see Bo-Katan in charge of Mandalore at the end of that Clone Wars series. Because they beat Maul. I think Ahsoka's the one that beats him. Am I remembering wrong stuff here?
Let's see. Pre Vizsla had it.
Yeah,
he was the leader of the Death Watch.
Yeah, that's like early Clone Wars.
Lord Maul kills Vizsla in a duel, takes the Darksaber on his own. Sidious comes, defeats him. Maul uses a Darksaber, but he loses. And then right there, when Sidious beats Maul, the blade should go to Sidious. But Sidious leaves it. So it goes from Maul. It should have gone to Sidious. Then it could have gone to Vader. Because Vader then beats him. Then Luke beats Vader. So next in line, technically, if you're trial of combat, Luke should have it if
because
Sidious
Luke beats Vader first, and then Vader beats Sidious. I don't know, he beats him, just throws him over the railing.
Throws him into the black hole. Okay, well, still, if Sidious ever picks up that dark blade, it should still technically be in the control or possession of Luke.
Well, it's like Moff Gideon says, the blade has no power.
Yeah.
The story does. So, but then, you kind of get that. They do rebuild the story that the blade does have power. It's like, it's hard.
It's just
it's
who's
heavier.
wielding it.
It's like, there's like the story. It's like there's dark matter that's part of the crystal. So that's why you have to have, force. I don't want to say be a force wielder, but be able to manifest the force a little bit to be able to control it. You have to be one.
I thought it was more of you have to be 100% confident in who you are. I think that's why it's giving Mando issues, because Mando, I don't feel is 100% committed to being a Mandalorian. I think he has that part of him that wants to be with Grogu, and then the part of him that does want to continue to be a Mandalorian. And I think if you're not pure of heart, and it doesn't have to be a negative thing, that's why the blade is giving him such a hard time. Same thing with Luke. If Luke had it, I think it'd give him a hard time. But Gideon knows, he wants it for evil reasons, and Bo-Katan knows she wants it to rule Mandalore. So they're pure of heart. It just doesn't really matter what your pure of heart is.
I get what you're saying. Your intent has to be there.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I don't know if I see it the same way. It's just more of being in tune with, I don't say yourself. but just being in tune with like the surroundings and the I don't know. So I guess maybe same way.
It could be a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Because to be true to yourself and your beliefs is usually like the Jedi way or the Sith way, and that's usually people who are sensitive to the Force.
But kind of just going back a little bit, I don't think there's a conflict with Mando having Grogu and keeping his Mandalorian. He's like
no, I think the thing is that he's not certain of his choices and decisions in giving Grogu up. I think he's not at ease with himself.
Yeah, but like getting Grogu back, it doesn't go against, No,
I know. I'm just saying there's internal conflict within Din himself. So I think that internal conflict of is he making the right decisions or is he making a mistake that's affecting him with the blade, just like it would with Luke. How Luke's like not sure of himself as well.
See, I don't think Luke would have any issues wielding the blade. But
maybe we find out in episode 7.
Maybe, but I think I kind of see what you're saying, but I think him accepting that he wants Grogu back, is gonna it's gonna be fulfilling. I think he'll still be able to be, man, embrace the way.
No, I know that's not what I'm saying though. It's just more like when he goes to drop off the armor for Grogu, like he makes one decision, but it's not the decision he wants to make.
Yeah.
It's like when we go to work in the morning. Do we want to go to work? No, but do we know that we have to? Yeah. So it's not the decision that we want to make. That's all. I think that affects the Darksaber.
Yeah, I mean, just being resolute in your intent. About 3 hours away, 2 hours and 40 minutes. So that should be interesting to see what comes of that.
All right. Before we jump off the Star Wars final predictions.
Oh, you're asking final predictions. So if I had to predict how the episode's gonna go or how it's gonna end, I don't think we get Luke.
Yeah.
I don't think we get Luke. But maybe Mando is the final thing, the final straw with the Darksaber. When Mando comes in at the end of the episode to kind of save the day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're getting Crimson Dawn to save the day for the Pike to set up a new season, kind of keep the story going forward.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it's going to end. I do think we're going to get the Cad Bane Boba showdown. And honestly, to me, it just makes sense that it's going to happen early in the episode.
Yeah.
So those are mine. What about yours?
I think we're going to see like a mixture of like an old Western showdown. And do you remember Game of Thrones Battle of the Bastards? Where Jon Snow's fighting Ramsay, and Ramsay like shoots the arrow and kills one of the brothers.
It sounds so familiar.
So I think it's going to be like that. You're going to see two forces on opposite sides, one led by Boba and Mando, and then the other one led by the Pikes and the Syndicate and Cad Bane. And I think they're going to have an all-out war. And then once we think that the heroes of the story win, then I do think reinforcements will show up. And then it'll leave us with the next season of Book of Boba. But I also think that we could get a resolution because I don't think Mando leaves Tatooine if we don't get a solid resolution to continue with his own story.
I'm changing my answer.
Yeah?
I'm changing my answer. So it just it just makes I don't know why I just this is the way. Pun intended.
Yeah.
So I think about 2/3 of the episode, close to maybe 10 minutes left, we see them decidingly win Tatooine back. And we're gonna have Boba confront Mando Like that's my rightful heir. Like I'm the ruler of Mandalore.
No.
So he's gonna confront Mando for the
Mando will kill him.
Hopefully, I mean, like, as much as I agree, hopefully we get a strong Boba. So what we're getting is Boba Mando showdown at the end.
I don't think that would happen, but I would love to see it. But I think Mando whoops him. Because who's Finnick gonna choose? Like, yeah, like in line she'll probably choose Boba, but then Cobb Vanth is gonna choose Mando, and then it just leads to a little internal conflict.
So I don't think it's one of those things where it's like, hey, like they need to figure out their stuff. And it's like, you know what, like, hey, like don't get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is between them. It doesn't necessarily have to be to the death. We've seen them fight for the dark saber and not have to kill the other person.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be one of those things where it's like, hey, like you have what's mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we're probably gonna get a scene where, because Boba hasn't seen the dark saber to this point.
No, I don't think so.
So we're gonna get the scene where Mando brings out the dark saber, and you're like, that's real. Like it's here.
Boba isn't a Mandalorian.
He is. His dad was a Mandalorian,
but he wasn't.
But don't you remember? I think
Boba Fett isn't. Jango was, but Boba isn't.
No, yeah, but so don't you remember? I think it's in Mando, where he brings up the hologram of
who owned the armor.
Like that's his family line. Like he's like, my dad was a strong, figure.
But that doesn't mean that Boba is. But he isn't. We know he isn't. We see where he's born. We see what he does for him.
I mean, he's technically a clone.
Exactly.
So he is the same person.
But it's not his experiences. So
but he's in this state.
He's never been to that.
Refers to conscious.
He's never been to that planet. He's soaked in the tradition.
But he's in the state of mind that he's set to rule now.
Tatooine.
But
not Mandalore.
But why not? Like, why not seeing that the dark saber just sparked that? Like, hey, you know what? Why am I stopping at Tatooine? Let me go reclaim the kingdom that my dad owned.
Because that was never the ruler of Mandalore.
No, he wasn't the ruler, but he was prominent. Like let me go reclaim my people.
No, I don't see it. Because then it's like, well, Luke could be like, oh, my dad was born on Tatooine and my bloodline's here. I rule Tatooine.
I mean, Luke could rule
it, but I don't know. I don't see that happening.
Just some food for thought out there. But we can leave it there for now.
I just wish we get to see Kira. I know we're not, but
I think there's a strong chance. I think there's a strong chance for that we see Kira. But
she's too big of a star to it not be leaked at some point that Amelia is on the show. I know they did a good job holding back Mark Hamill, but he was already in so deep with the Star Wars universe. I don't know. And nobody ever saw her in LA while they were filming, I think. So I think that would have got leaked too, or...
Yeah, but how hard is it to fly down a private jet to some small-ass airport in a tinted-out Suburban and drive into, a studio in a tinted-out where nobody can see you, and everyone in their room signed an affidavit, not an affidavit form, no.
Yeah, the NDAs. I don't know.
Not that.
Would I like to see it? Yes. Do I think it'll happen? No. Unfortunately.
You know what else you would like to see?
What?
Your Heat in the finals.
It could happen, man.
It could. They're number one in the East right now.
KD, Harden, they're out. We don't know for how long. So the Nets.
Well, KD had a knee issue.
Mm-hmm.
Harden's having hamstring issues. And he's
Irving can only play in away games.
Yep.
A lot. Sixers are probably the toughest competition, but I don't know if Embiid will keep it up the entire year health-wise.
Toughest competition is the Bucks.
No.
Yes.
No, bro. The Heat have already beaten the Bucks. We know how to beat them. The Bulls, they're deep. The Bulls have a deep roster, They're probably the team that scares me the most in the East.
Just because he said that, now I'm picking the Bucks to beat you.
Okay.
Don't sleep on the Bucks. Don't sleep on the Bucks.
Dude, Giannis doesn't want
fear.
it. No, Giannis doesn't want it. Bro.
What do you mean Giannis doesn't want it?
He's already said so many times he's willing to give it up at any point if his family wants it. He cares more about playing for happiness and winning the championship. That his number one desire isn't winning the ring. Like he's also, and he said this over like the last 4 months.
Yeah, why? Because he already has the ring. He already has the MVPs. He's already recognized as the world's best basketball player.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He's the best basketball player in the world.
Yes.
When? Where?
What do you mean when? Where?
Does KD still play?
Not right now.
Does LeBron still play? Does Steph still play?
Yes.
Does Luka still play?
Yes. Okay. Does Luka?
Klay Thompson's coming back.
Okay. Klay Thompson does not belong in this conversation.
Bro, Klay Thompson.
I love Klay. I love Klay.
Klay is one of the best two-way players.
I agree.
In the league.
He is. Or he was.
Kawhi's still in the league.
Yeah, I'll take. Give me honest.
Embiid. I'll take Embiid over Giannis. What are you talking about?
Give me honest.
Jokic?
How many? Give me honest.
My jaw just hit the. That's my jaw,
bro. He's won the MVP.
Yeah.
He carried a Bucks team through the finals.
No, he carried.
Like, when they have 4 50-point games.
Did he? I'll look it up. Continue with your story.
He beat KD. He beat they beat the Suns, which is kind of like the best roster in the NBA right now.
I don't know, they're the best roster. They just got CP3,
Booker, Andre.
Yeah,
DeAndre. That roster is stacked.
I don't know they're the best roster.
That's a deep stacked roster. 35, 13, and 5.
Yes, I know.
In the finals.
Great numbers, but I've seen better.
By who?
LeBron against the Warriors like 3 years in a row.
Okay. But when is the last time LeBron was in the finals?
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And
LeBron scored 50 points once.
So it was like 40-point games then.
Yeah, 41, 42. Still amazing. Obviously, that's amazing. But dude, he's not the best player in the game. Yeah.
Name the second best player on that team.
Holiday.
Drew Holiday. Yeah. Drew Holiday is a perennial all-star, but he's not a top player in the league. He's not a top 5, not even a top 10.
No, top 20.
Yeah, a good second player. He was going against CP3.
Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton's a top 15 player. Chris Middleton carried them in the playoffs for 2 series when Giannis was kind of gone.
What are you talking about? Gone, dropping.
Bobby Portis was so crazy and efficient last year. He had the best player efficiency in the NBA last year.
He was all these
in the NBA, not just for the playoffs.
Look,
in the season,
KD is the most efficient scorer in the game. Yeah. There's no denying how great Durant is.
Yeah.
But how many games do you see where you're like, man, Giannis is playing bad today? And then you look at his stat line and he's at 28, 8, and 12 fucking rebounds.
Never, because he never gets more than 4 assists.
He averaged 6 for the finals, so yes, he does.
Dude, no. Is Giannis a top 5 player? Possibly.
Not
top
possibly.
10? Top 10, yes.
He's the best player in the NBA.
He's the best player in the NBA. He's not, bro.
No, he is. He earned that this last year.
He's not.
He earned that this last year carrying the Milwaukee Bucks to a ring.
Right off the bat, there's 2 other players in the NBA that I take. We're talking about right now, this season, at this very moment. I'm taking Embiid and Jokic over him.
Bro, Jokic is what, the 7th team in the West?
Yeah, because what's the name of the point guard? I forgot the name of the point guard.
I know what you're talking about. He's hurt.
Yeah.
But
he's still carrying. The West is always stronger. The West is every night you're playing a playoff contending team in the West.
I don't think
if he was in the East, it'd be definitely top 3, top 4. And I know the East is so much better, probably the best they've ever been.
So I think you have on the West, Phoenix and Suns can go to bat with anybody.
Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
Phoenix Suns and
the Warriors.
Yeah, they can go with any team in the East.
Yeah.
Grizzlies. Do you believe in the Grizzlies? John Morant, love him.
I love John.
But do you believe
Jaren Jackson could be the defensive player of the year?
But do you see the Grizzlies as an actual contender for the championship?
I think they're a year away, experience-wise.
Exactly.
Experience-wise. Talent-wise, they're there.
Yeah. The Jazz. Do you see them as an actual NBA championship?
No, because
no,
Mitchell's hurt.
Doesn't matter. They're not.
Ingles
they're
is
not
hurt.
The Mavericks.
No.
Exactly. The Nuggets.
If Murray was there, yes.
No.
If Jamal Murray was healthy,
Jamal Murray was there last year and they got bounced.
He got hurt.
They got bounced in the first round.
He got hurt.
He should be able to get him past the first round if he's the best player in the world.
We said right now. We didn't say last year. We said right now.
Give
me Embiid and give me Jokic.
No.
Yes.
Nope. Clippers. No. Lakers.
PG and Kawhi are hurt.
Doesn't matter. No. Even if they were there, I don't take them as a threat. They haven't proven it.
I don't know, bro. You got a top 3 player, top 10 player. I'll see them as a threat.
Let's go to the East. The Heat. Yes.
Yes.
The Bucks, obviously. The Bulls have a legit chance at the finals. The Cavs, no.
No.
Sixers, yes.
No.
You don't have this.
I honestly, dude, I think Embiid's the MVP. I think Embiid's the MVP.
How can you say Embiid's the best player in the world and he doesn't have a chance of winning the NBA title?
Because there's nobody around him right now.
Doesn't matter.
Ben Simmons isn't playing.
Okay, but
even if he was playing,
look at LeBron in Cleveland.
Yeah.
He had nobody around him, but he was still carrying his...
the first time or the second time?
First time.
Okay.
Even the second time. Even when he had Irving.
The first time he only got to the finals once and he got mollywopped.
Yeah, but he got to the finals. That's my point. He got there.
I know, but we're talking about we can see do I think the Sixers can get to the finals? Yes. But do I see them beating whoever wins the West? No.
If you're in the finals,
that's how I'm taking your
chance.
question. No. When was it? Against the Lakers when the Heat were playing in the bubble in the finals, I knew we were going to lose.
Because
all of our players were hurt.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm getting to. The Sixers don't have the depth behind Embiid and Curry. Now, is Curry still on the team?
He's on the team.
But you're asking me, can I see them winning the championship? No, I can't see the Sixers winning the championship because they don't have depth. If Embiid gets hurt for a game or two, they're done.
Yeah, so how reliability is the best ability.
Mm-hmm. He's been playing
again, but
that's why I'll take Embiid over him.
But you have
that saying player. We're not the thing is Giannis a top 5 player? Yes, but who am I taking 1-on-1, Giannis or Embiid? I'm taking Embiid.
Giannis has already shown that he can do it. Embiid hasn't shown you that. It hasn't shown you that. Hasn't shown you that yet.
We'll see. I don't know. All right, but continue with the East. So, Miami, yes, legit championship contender. The Bucks, yes. Bulls, yes.
And 76ers.
Cleveland is way too young.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent.
Raptors, no.
No, Raptors, no. Celtics are so confusing.
I agree.
They have so much talent. They have depth. They have a good structure. But I don't think they know who they are. I think you need to get rid of Jaylen Brown or Tatum. You have to get rid of one of them. Brown is electrifying, but Tatum is just a natural scorer.
Yeah.
Would I get rid of either one of them? No. But looking from the outside in, I think you got to get rid of one of them and still get the other player another perennial all-star. Kind of like a Chris Middleton and Holiday for Giannis.
Yeah.
But I think they're very similar mentality-wise. So They're kind of iffy for me. Nets, if they're healthy, yes. Even if the Nets are the 8th seed and get into the playoffs, if all three of them are available and healthy, I can see the Nets winning them.
I don't know. That's a big chemistry experience because they played what, like 8-10 games together
this season. I think so.
Yeah. So it's still a big up in the air. Hornets, no. Hawks, no.
The Hornets have a good deep roster, but they're too young, and Hayward has ligament damage to his ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the East, there's 4 or 5 legit contenders. Unfortunately, Sixers aren't one, even though I think Embiid is the MVP.
I'll give you Embiid as the MVP, but looking at Giannis and kind of where he's at, there's nothing for him to prove in the regular season. He's already won multiple MVPs.
Yeah.
So there's nothing for him to do in the regular season, which is why it's easy for him to have that mentality, like, hey, like there's nothing for me here. No,
but he's not LeBron. He can't turn it on and off.
He hasn't turned it off. He's basically 29 points per game.
Like 8 and 4, right? 29, 8 and 4.
So he's 29. So he's 28.9, 11.2, and 5.6, 5.9 assists per game.
Still amazing.
That's turning it off.
Yeah.
I
know there's the 2nd seed, but
it's Milwaukee. It's not a show town. There's not a lot of buzz around that team, so it's hard for them to keep that recognition throughout the regular season. But I think you cannot sleep on the Bucks. I think the Bucks are right now the favorite.
No, I know. I know they're the favorite. I think they're top 3, top 4. Giannis doesn't have the killer instinct, and I don't know how the playoffs are going to play out.
See, but I think he showed he has that killer instinct last year in the finals.
PJ Tucker, Middleton, Holiday, Brook Lopez all stepped up consistently through the finals. So yeah, he had the heavy scoring games.
Yeah, but you can say that about anybody. You
really can.
You had Kerr helping Jordan hit the shot. You always have.
Bro, but Kerr averaged like 5 points a game.
Okay, but you always have players stepping up.
No, I know. But I understand that. I'm not talking about just stepping up for one game. Like all those players, Bobby Portis too. So PJ Tucker, Bobby Portis, Holiday, they all played some of their best basketball
for one game.
For the series,
they each had their moments.
PJ Tucker's defense was on fire the entire series.
I watched those.
Bobby Portis.
I watched those finals more than you did.
Bobby Portis was averaging like 12 points a game on 6 of 7, like every single game. Holiday was disruptive on defense, passing the rock the entire series.
Because you got Giannis destroying the paint, putting up 40 points per game in the finals.
Chris Middleton was a very good complimentary piece.
I'm not denying none of that.
I'm just saying.
But none of that takes away from Giannis.
But you're giving them extra brownie points for the play of his teammates.
I'm not.
You're pointing to the fact that he had an amazing finals, but it's like everyone on the team stepped up. So, yeah, it's easier for him when everyone else is doing everything else almost perfectly. Mm-hmm. Like, the Bucks had one of the best performances as a team, top to bottom, in the entire series, final series.
I'm just giving the man his respect, but I think he's earned.
I still don't think he's the best player in the game.
Can that change at the end of the season? Maybe. But I think right now he's earned the right to be called the best player in basketball. Can that change next year? Yeah, maybe. But right now, he proved it in the finals. He proved it in the playoffs. You can't unprove it in the regular season.
So if you have the number 1 pick in the NBA, all the rosters disbanded, you're picking Giannis number 1?
Yeah, I'm picking Giannis number 1.
Okay.
Taking Curry second.
Okay.
Don't sleep on Curry, bro. Curry's taking a step back right now so he can let Clay develop. They're still have the second best record in basketball.
Even though Draymond's been out like a week already, 2 weeks. I just got Thompson back. The Warriors are dangerous, bro. KD going with the Warriors really ruined basketball for a good 2-3 years. I'm so happy they're not together anymore. It's crazy how good that team was. And still stayed under the salary cap and all that.
I still believe when we look back in 20 years, Curry will have a better
reputation
than LeBron.
No.
Yes.
No.
Than LeBron.
No. Oh,
so. The thing with LeBron is he's such a freak of nature.
Bro, LeBron. We had a conversation earlier about Kobe. Very memorable. Like 30 seconds. If you look at Kobe's stats and people rank him ahead of LeBron, probably second all time. Kobe was only elite, and trust me, I'm saying only very lightly. Kobe was elite 13 years. Kobe was an elite, one of the best all time for 13 years. LeBron has done it for 20 years. He's going to do it for 20 plus years. Jordan was only elite, again, only for 11, 12 years.
What was the first thing that came out of my mouth? LeBron is a freak of nature.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot duplicate what LeBron does.
Yeah.
That works against him.
No.
Nobody wants to be the unicorn. You know, like unicorns.
The player you just said is the best player in the NBA. Try to model his game after LeBron.
Because LeBron's a jack of all trades.
Yeah, and Giannis is trying to do.
That's what everyone thrives to be. You want to be a good passer. You want to be a good rebounder. You want to be a good shooter. You want to be good at paint.
You want to be efficient. You want to play defense. Yes, I understand that. Get to your point, sir.
If Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant was 6'8" and had 30 more pounds of muscle on them, they're better than LeBron.
No,
they're still better than LeBron.
They weren't as efficient. They weren't as efficient with the ball scoring. They weren't as intelligent playmaking to get other players involved, even if they were lesser quality. That's the thing.
My point is,
LeBron,
I'm not arguing,
could have won a championship without this amazing talent, even got to the finals on his own. And he did. Jordan and Kobe
was trash.
Doesn't matter, bro.
It does matter.
They were still winning 60 games a year.
Because they played in the trash East.
They still had to play the West. They still played the West for like 25, 30 games.
Yeah. So you go 500 in the West and you go 800 in the East.
Kobe and Jordan needed all-star talent to even get out of the first and second round. LeBron didn't, bro. LeBron's been exquisite for 20 years. People need to stop hating on LeBron.
I'm not hating on LeBron. I'm not denying LeBron's greatness. My point is, in 20 years, when you look back at the game, Curry will have a better reputation and a bigger impact on the game, and people will. No. Curry's name will be remembered longer than LeBron's.
No,
I do. I think LeBron is gonna end up in that Kareem. You know, don't forget about Kareem. Don't forget about that Skyhook. Don't forget about that.
Curry ruined basketball, in my opinion.
How did he ruin basketball?
He made everybody believe that they're Curry, that they could jack up 25 threes a game. Just like the Auburn-Arkansas game we watched. There was a good 3-4 minutes where Arkansas legitimately shot 8 threes and made 1. Not everyone's Curry. He makes the game of basketball super inefficient.
Yeah, you know who's emulating Curry's game a lot lately? LeBron. Putting up 8, 9 3-pointers a game.
He's older. He's saving himself for the playoffs. And he did it in his 21st season.
No,
honestly, Curry's good. Well, Curry's great. But will he have a bigger impact in the game than LeBron? No way. People are going to look back at LeBron's numbers and be like, this dude got to the finals 8 years in a row.
Yeah.
This dude averaged almost a triple-double with less than 2 turnovers per game. They're going to look at his stats and see, he was efficient and he was always a winner.
Yeah, he's going to be the afterthought. Don't forget him.
No.
Don't forget him. Don't forget him.
No way.
Yes. Dude, in 20 years, when kids that are 10, 8, 9 years old that are not going to watch LeBron play, they're not going to remember him.
Yeah, that will. will.
They won't.
Who's the best basketball player of all time?
Michael Jordan.
Did you watch Michael Jordan play live?
I did not.
Exactly. It's all words of mouth. People will not let LeBron's legacy die. One way or another, people love him or hate him. What they say, all press is good press. People hate
all publicity is good
all publicity is good publicity. People hate LeBron. People love LeBron. There's no way he falls from people's memories in 10, 20 years. There's no way. Curry is going to be like Shaq. Shaq's my favorite all-time player of the year. When Shaq came into the league, we hadn't seen anything like it. Someone that big, that athletic. Most people don't even remember that it would take Shaq like 5 steps to run down the entire court.
Yeah.
As great as Shaq is and was, and all the championships he won, all the stats that he led in, that's what Curry's going to be like. Oh, yeah, Curry was sick. Curry was a beast. Curry was different. He did this. He did that. But he will not be remembered as one of the greatest of all time, especially when he played at the same time that Kobe, LeBron, and KD did.
If Steph Curry wins another ring,
Doesn't matter, bro.
If Steph Curry wins another ring, he has the argument for best point guard of all time.
No.
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying he has the argument.
What does Curry do good besides shooting?
Dribbling, passing.
That stats are accumulated for.
It doesn't have to be something that's accumulated.
No, I know, but you're saying in 20 years, these kids that are going to be 15, 18, they're just going to look at the stats.
They're not, though.
They are.
They're not.
So they're going to show Curry had
how many times have you looked up the stats for the 1988 NBA season?
Just when I want to look at Gary Payton, Patrick Ewing, Jordan, when I want to look at specific players.
But like, how often do you go and look up stats?
Probably a handful of time every year. Anywhere from like 5 to a dozen.
You don't look up stats, bro.
Yeah, you do. Especially when people... Dude, today, we talked about Kobe for 5 seconds, and we're just like, oh, Kobe wasn't as efficient. I pulled up the stats.
I didn't.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, you're asking me how often I do it. I do it pretty consistently.
Okay, so you're going to be that person that's like, don't forget LeBron. That's going to be you, buddy.
Everybody's going to be like,
no.
Do that. Everyone's going to do that.
No, you're going to be that person that's going to be like, don't forget LeBron. That guy went to 8 straight NBA finals, you know?
Okay, so it's only people like me that don't let LeBron's legacy die. One way or another. I hate LeBron now. I've hated LeBron for like the last 4 or 5 years.
I'm not
one way or another,
the
LeBron
greatness.
will have a bigger lasting impact over Curry.
No, because when you're looking at the game of basketball in 15, 20 years, you're gonna be like, okay, this is how we play now. Oh, when we played in the 2010s and the 2020s, Curry made the game that way.
Yeah, but we don't do that now for people who changed it from the 80s to the 2000s, all the high flyers.
But you do. You look at Jordan as someone that revolutionized the game.
No, but we don't talk about Vince Carter, Gerald Wallace, Dwayne Wade, all these guard slashers that attack the basket and were dunking all the time. They changed the way the game was played.
No, they embraced the way the game was being played.
They changed it.
Jordan changed the way the game was being played.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He was just better than everybody else. He didn't change the way the game was played.
No, Jordan was the freak athlete that came into the athlete that made people change their game.
No, he did not.
Yes.
The game was all mid-game and attacking the basket. He didn't change the game. He was just better at it than everybody else.
No, before Jordan, point guards and guards were an afterthought.
Bro, what are you talking about?
It was all about centers.
It still was in the 80s and 90s when he played. He didn't change the game.
But going into the 2000s, it became more a guard.
Allen Iverson changed the game more than Jordan ever did.
No.
What did Jordan do differently? Nothing. He played the game the exact same way. He was just better. No. He couldn't shoot a 3.
Not that
he had
there was no emphasis on the 3.
He couldn't shoot a 3 to save his life. He didn't have an inside post game.
Not at the beginning of his career because he was just flying over everybody.
Okay,
but he developed that towards the end of his career.
He didn't change the way the game was played. He was just the best. he was the best winner. He didn't change the way the game was played.
No, because after Jordan, there was a bigger emphasis on guards.
LeBron has changed the game more than Jordan did. LeBron and Lamar Odom started this thing of big forwards, tall forwards that could be your ball handlers, who can pass the game, who can facilitate the ball. They changed the game more than Jordan ever did.
No.
Yes.
No.
Curry has changed the game more than Jordan ever did.
I mean, I don't know if I would say more than Jordan, but Curry did change the game. Before Curry, it was that athletic guard getting to the rim.
Vince Carter, D Wade, Gerald Wallace.
That's because of Jordan.
Well,
ask those players.
We'll move on.
Ask those players who their game is modeled after.
We'll move on.
Jordan.
We'll move on from that. We'll agree to disagree, and we'll leave it there.
Sure, buddy.
All right, who do you have as your MVP?
Talking NFL?
NBA.
NBA. Well, we already said this. I mean, I'm just trying to think, but I do Embiid.
Mm-hmm. Defensive Player of the Year?
I'll be honest, I haven't been keeping up with the league enough to give a Defensive Player of the Year.
All right. I'm going to go with Jaren Jackson. I think he's the biggest catalyst defensively for the Grizzlies and what's giving them the defense, and he leads the league in blocks. I think in January he had like 50 or 60 more blocks than any other player. Coach of the Year?
Coach of the Year. Maybe the Hornets coach?
Even with the 8th seed? Or what are they, the 7th seed, I think, in the East?
Right now, they're the 9th seed. They're a game above 500. But where were the Hornets last year?
In the same spot. I think they were a little better last year.
No. So last year they finished 6 games under 500. So yeah, roughly.
I like the Hornets. Miles Bridges is a beast. Melo's really good. My coach of the year is probably going to be Monty Williams for the Suns, or Spoelstra for the Heat.
Spoelstra's not a coach.
Eric Spoelstra?
Oh wait, no,
For
sorry.
Miami?
No,
Yeah.
sorry. I was thinking of the Boston guy.
Oh,
Because he got promoted to GM.
yeah.
Yeah.
My-
Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra.
So Monty Williams, I think, is going to be the clear favorite just because of how good of a season he's having. But in the East with the Heat, and we've mentioned it before, Kyle Lowry's been hurt, Jimmy Butler's been hurt, Tyler Hero's been hurt, Bam Adebayo's been hurt, and they've only played like 10 games together. So I think the fact that he's been able to hold the team together with guys like Gabe Vincent and see how lead them to the number 1 seed through the All-Star break.
Yeah.
I think it's just a testament to that Heat culture.
Yeah, Eric Spoelstra is definitely a legit coach. Yeah, that could work.
Want to wrap it up there or go a little longer? I think we've been live for an hour and 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I guess we can wrap it up on. We got any upcoming movies that you're excited about?
Yeah. So we'll make a video on this afterwards, maybe a little more in depth. But just I'll give you 3 of the movies in my top 10 in no specific order, so that I don't ruin the surprise in a separate video. I'm really looking forward to the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. I'm looking forward to that banter between the two of them, going back and forth. Top Gun Part 2. Looking forward to seeing that with Tom Cruise and Miles Teller and Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I know we haven't gotten anything Marvel related in Disney Plus yet, but I know Moon Knight's going to come out pretty soon. We finished Hawkeye in December. So those are 3 of the movies I'm looking forward to the most. What about you?
Yeah, so again, in no particular order, Doctor Strange, that's probably up there for me. The Batman movie coming out next month.
Yeah.
And then probably Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I think that's probably something that I hope that franchise can deliver on what's kind of been promised. So kind of where I'm at, but yeah, there's a lot of good movies that we should be seeing.
Looking out, kind of happy that they're not going to be doing the same day release at home. I want people to start going back to the movie theaters. It's definitely a better experience, especially when you get to see something like in Dolby and IMAX with that surround sound, and just knowing that you're there with people who really enjoy the movies as well. It's a nice feeling to have.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice. Hopefully things start opening up soon again. Just in general. Cool, man. Well, we can kind of wrap it up there. We appreciate you guys for tuning in.
2 more hours. Book of Boba. Season 7. Series finale. Season finale.
Season finale. But see you guys here in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys.
Deuces.
See ya.